if somebody is 30 or 40 and they're in Kenya, Uganda, and I don't care what the story is, backstory, they lived in America, they lived here, they have literally burned all of their opportunities in their own local community. I want to tell everybody that's the truth. If they're in their 30s and 40s, if it's a young guy, true. I can see that. But somebody 30, 40, 50 reaching out to you, they can't get anywhere in their own community no matter what the talent, because they're too toxic. What's good, Ken God? That's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, and I am sipping on somebody's wine who bought it for me because I'm Christian like that. But we're here in Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm with the very lovely
Kea Simmons.
Rahul?
Wakesho.
Is that like a Kenyan middle name?
Yes, a Taita name.
Okay, because it wasn't no African American. I said, okay.
No, it's not my real middle name.
Right.
But I've adopted that name.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Before we get into the episode, what is it that you do here?
Yeah, so I am the CEO and founder of Traverse Culture. We are a travel concierge company that specializes in relocation assistance, business development, humanitarian work, and now medical tourism inbound to Kenya.
I need to step my game up on you. Okay. So we had a previous podcast. Maybe for those of you who haven't seen it, you can go down in the comments and I'll link the episode there. But I noticed that, at least in Kenya, at first when I was talking about repatriating to Africa, we saw a lot of single women coming. Yeah. Okay. And then now in cases like Nairobi, because you got influencers like Austin, you see a lot of single men coming now. Mm-hmm. But historically, I believe women, yes, if it's not married people, they're coming sometimes with their children.
Correct.
Shout out to Ashley in Africa. Do you know her?
Yeah, she's one of our ambassadors for the JBE. Shout out to her.
So you see that more often than you're seeing single men coming.
Yep.
Okay, and so in America, there's a lot more equality and parity. Formerly with DEI, it was trying to help people, not necessarily always black women, but women of color.
Yes.
Get into high positions and things like that in corporate America. But now we're seeing an influx of, at least from our diaspora, African American, historically African American, coming in and then coming into an environment where Kenya is a little bit more modern, with women in business than some of the other countries, but a male-dominated run economy like Kenya, where you could see at least the last Kenya shillings, uhuru, on the money, the black being on the money. And so it's different than being in America, being a female business owner, I would assume. What have been your challenges being a black woman, a single woman, I believe you're single, right?
Yeah.
Trying to do business in a market that is male dominated here in Kenya?
That's a good question. I think in the beginning it was a bit challenging when I started hiring men as my team.
Okay.
And the majority of my team was men only first. Because I thought it would be easier to deal with men. I'm a boy mom and grew up tomboyish, and I just thought it would be easier to deal with men. But then once I started to, navigate this kind of space, you start to see that, some of the men were having issues with taking orders from me. Some of the men were trying to take over the business, tried to tell me what to do with my own business. And it started to be a struggle in terms of working with the all-male team, which is why I had to fire my entire male team and hire an entire women team.
Okay. In America, let's say the black community, our community, African American community, it is not uncommon to see, especially like in the AME church, African Methodist Episcopal, and in some of the Pentecostal churches like AOH, Apostolic Overcoming Holiness, Church of God in Christ, it's not uncommon to see female leadership in black churches. And the black community is a matriarchy, pretty much. Big mama strong.
Absolutely.
And men don't necessarily see that some men don't really see that as a big problem in our community. But what is different in Kenyan culture?
In Nairobi, you are starting to see some women empowerment where women are thriving here.
Yes.
And they're like CEOs of banks and hospitals, and the CEO of AAR is a woman of the diaspora. She's actually from Trinidad. Shout out.
Okay.
And and then you're starting to see this across the board where women are in leadership positions here in Nairobi. But as you kind of venture out into your kind of smaller cities, you may start to see that it's still male dominated and women are not respected as much. Okay. I'm not going to say that happens across the board.
Right.
But it does exist.
But in your situation, when you hired all men, if you had all African American men in the States, do you think you would have had that same issue?
It just depends on where they're from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends on what part of the U.S. they're from.
Okay.
And, different cultures.
But would you say that African-American men are more okay with female leadership?
Sure.
Yes,
I've been a supervisor before.
Yeah.
I've been in leadership position while I was contracting abroad, and most of my employees were men.
Women who come here, if they have a husband, I've noticed that transition is easier. Because now the person sees the man and he's more respected because the woman is tied to a man. Okay, and you're coming here by yourself.
Yeah.
Tell me exactly in detail. I know you've been generalizing like you had some issues, but what kind of issues did you have when they know that you didn't have a husband?
Yeah.
And you were here? Give me some details of the situations you went through.
One of the situations that I had was 2 of my male employees were literally telling people that they owned the company themselves. And then once the project that they were working with me on was done, they wrote like an email stating that they wanted percentage of the company because they have worked, they've done this, that to the third, and that they feel like they should have a percentage of the company because of the work that I paid them to do. And essentially it came off as if, we could do it better if you just allow us to do it. That was mind-blowing. I was like, are you serious? Like, to the point they was threatening me as if I was going to be scared.
Threatening you in what way?
Like, we could take this over. You know what I mean? We know Nairobi more than you. And so we can literally take over what you're doing because you don't know, the language. You don't know the culture. You don't know this. We can pretty much take your whole concept and take over. And I'm like, oh, okay, try. And you've probably never met a woman like me in your entire life. And so it kind of got ugly and I fired them. And
how ugly did it get though?
Threats.
Of like violence?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we're going to do what?
Like, we're going to have somebody come see you type of situation. Yeah.
Okay, so were you here in the country when that was going on? Or you was like, like what I'm saying is like, was this around the time where at certain points you were leaving and coming back?
So that was when I was leaving and coming back.
Okay. Did you have any physical office equipment, anything?
Physical, no, not at that time. Okay. But then I had another altercation with a man, and then this was crazy. We actually did get in a physical altercation.
Story time music.
Right. And so this guy literally tried to scam me the whole time working with me. This is where I messed up and not leaned on my team.
Okay.
And I'm thinking I'm being the CEO and I'm going out here and I'm getting connections and this guy's connecting me. And the whole time he's scamming slowly, not money, but just building up so that he can get money.
So building up, what do you mean? Something similar happened to me.
Connecting me, saying, I'm not doing this for money. I'm not da-da-da-da. And then building up to be like,
like leverage. He's building up leverage for the things he's doing for you. Okay, I understand.
And so at the end of the day, we had a successful event. Showed up to my event. Wasn't speaking to me after he did what he did. And it got physical. I can't go into all that.
But did you hit him with the left or the right hook?
He called me a B to my face at my event.
In Nairobi?
In Nairobi. To my face. To where I felt threatened. I had to defend myself.
So at that particular point, what was going through your mind about continuing the business after experiencing this situation?
It was just experience. That was on me. Because again, I'm big on, now I know, to really lean on my team because they know they will know a little more than I do. Because again, language plays a part. If you do not understand fluent Kiswahili, anybody could be saying anything. And then, if they switch up in their mother tongue, then you really lost. So it's leaning on my team to guide me, and I didn't.
Let me give you an example of what may happen. Now, did you recruit this person or did this person find you?
They found me.
Okay, so this is very similar to what happened to me.
Okay.
I'm somewhere, a person spots me, and they notice you and says, I can give you this level of value.
Correct.
Is that what happened with you?
Yes.
Okay, so people in the diaspora need to know this is a tactical trip.
Yep.
That when people know that you got something going on and they come and offer you something out of whatever level of gratitude.
And it seems very real and genuine.
Right.
Yeah.
Was this person a Kenyan or a Kenyan American?
No, Kenyan.
Okay. This can also happen to you from somebody from the diaspora that lives here. Especially here. One time I was with Raymond with somewhere, I don't want to talk about where I was at, but there was a brother from like the States. He's a Kenyan, but he lived there. But that vibe was like, I can help you. He's offering essentially too much for somebody who you don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. And for us, that's something that we may do.
Right.
And some of them may do it too.
Yeah, and you just think it's genuine.
So this is something you gotta look out for. Okay, so how did he find you?
Online.
Okay, he found you online and said what?
He found me and then went through another person who we were working with and said that then we would love to work with them. We love what they're doing. And so she connected us, and then it went from there, and then just connecting with them. And I was in a very vulnerable state too. I had just got out of a bad business relationship.
Okay.
So it was timing too that, kind of aligned for him. Because I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. Maybe this is God, helping me out.
Right. The people may actually have something to offer you that may be actually worthwhile. How do you test that? Because
I should have leaned on my team. I had to apologize to them.
What did your team say?
They was like, Miss Waukesha, you should have let us vet him.
Well, okay. When the guy came and you started to work with him, were they trying to tell you at the time, like, we don't think so? He's not good?
They felt a certain kind of way, but I was with him more than they were.
So you just basically brought him in?
Yep, that's what I did.
I made that mistake too.
I made that mistake.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's talk about some of the other men. You said there was one that wanted a percentage. What about the other person?
There was another employee of ours who I worked with in Afghanistan. And he always told me, when you come and you start expanding, please hire me. And so I did. I did exactly what I said I was going to do, and I hired him. And because we both have a logistics background, he already know what I like logistically. So I don't have to teach him. Before I say it, he's already made a move logistically to make it make sense. And he became a problem for the team of majority women and women leaders. Okay. And so he gave them hell in the background. I didn't find out until it was too bad to where one of my employees, one of the women who's a manager, a director, well, she was a manager at that time, was like, we can't continue to work with him, Ms. Waukesha. Okay. He's saying to me that he was supposed to have this position, not me. It just got out of control.
Okay, so let's talk about that, because this is some good detail.
Yeah.
Only found here on the Kinganda podcast, So I have a female, shout out to Rachel and Jonita. Rachel's my GM. So bringing a man into that environment, was this person good? That was logistics?
Yes, very good.
Okay, so he may not be able to mesh in with the women, right?
Yeah, but he was doing some shady stuff on the side.
Okay, like
too.
what?
He actually worked with Phil Scott them as their concierge person.
Okay.
They didn't have a complaint about him. He was good.
Right.
But the transportation guy and him got into it, and the transportation guy said he was trying to overcharge or saying that something, because he was in charge of transportation. That was his rule. Something happened with that, and then he also tried to say that my other employee, which was his manager, was doing something else. Come to find out, no, this is what you do, because once we went to redo contracts, when I rebranded to Traverse Culture, I had started over.
Okay, right. From Worldviews.
From Worldviews to Traverse Culture. I kept the team. My team was already telling me, like, Mr. Waukesha, just start all over. Stop fighting. We gonna be here. Oh,
okay, so the team with the other former partner, the both of you had one team.
Right, which is my team.
Okay, so my connection. She left.
She left. She was fighting me and all this other stuff to keep Worldviews. I'm fighting back, got lawyers. And remember, I'm registered in the States and here. Okay. So I'm Worldviews and Views of Africa here. So at that time. And she's fighting me. I got lawyers. I'm paying lawyer fees. I'm losing my mind. I'm started having paralyzing anxiety attacks, mild depression. I have PTSD. I'm a veteran.
Yeah.
So, and then I did 7.5 years of civilian contracting, 3.5 years in Afghanistan, just a whole lot of stuff.
How long were you in the military for?
5.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Shout out to the U.S. Army, 3rd ID. All of that was going on, and so I rebranded to Traverse Culture March 1, 2023. So we're only 2 years old technically.
Right, okay.
Technically, I've been doing this for 7.5 years between Worldviews. And
that's when I first met you.
Correct, under Worldviews. When I started over, I not only gave my team a contract, but I also gave them a raise. Okay. Starting over.
When you probably didn't have a whole lot to start over.
I did. Okay, I lost a lot of money. But I value my team. So I gave them a raise. And he was like, this ain't enough, and started to corral the other women. And he got a $3.25 raise. Who gets a $3.25 raise within a year? And I gave them 3 raises before that.
Like an hour raise?
Yes. You can't get that. You can't get that in the States and work 5 years and get that.
Yeah. So I've face the exact same thing in Uganda. So here's what I will tell somebody in this situation from what I understand. What I figured out is I will hire a person to do contract work. So that person advises my team. Let's say if it's a concept. If it's a man and that man has autonomy, he'll come in and say, here's what I'm going to do. And that will hire that person's contract team. And
okay.
Yeah, that person's now an independent contractor. And it's for that short period of time. So you're going to do this and then your contract is up.
Right.
Yeah.
I started off that way.
Okay. Now, the situation I had with this other individual, he was just completely toxic. I mean, he did give me some thing. I've noticed that this is something that happens where the people think that, especially if it's men, if you have women leadership like I do, they automatically feel like they are more talented.
That's how it was.
And even though they're reaching out to you, and it's like, I'm sorry. If you were so talented, you wouldn't be reaching out to me. You would already, the fact that you are reaching out to me already means that you don't have opportunities. And that's a red flag. If somebody is 30 or 40 and they're in Kenya, Uganda, and I don't care what the story is, backstory, they lived in America, they lived here, they have literally burned all of their opportunities in their own local community. I want to tell everybody that's the truth. If they're in their 30s and 40s, if it's a young guy, true. I can see that. But somebody 30, 40, 50 reaching out to you, they can't get anywhere in their own community no matter what they're telling because they're too toxic.
That's true.
So we got to understand that this person, they can tell you they have connections. Then why are they not leveraging their connections with their own diaspora? Because the Kenyan diaspora is huge.
Huge.
Dallas,
massive.
Fort Worth, everywhere. The DMV. So why do they need me? And if they're reaching out to me because they can't get on with their people already know them. And so the research that I would say is I've noticed, who are you? Okay. Give me some references. God would go and try to find who that person is. And you're probably going to find out that that person is, despite their talent level, what they can do, nobody wants to work with them. And so that same energy they bring into your business, and it's so harmful.
It is.
So I would tell you, anybody 30, 40 years old wanting to work with you,
you need to vet them
harder.
And have a Kenyan do it. That's why now I do not onboard anyone. So if you are looking to work with us, be employed by us, I have an HR. Everything goes through HR and operations.
Okay.
They will interview you just like we have an internship program. They did a whole interview process for all 6 interns that we brought on board. They have their own filters. They know what they're looking for. But what I had to start doing, to your point, is this is my friend. I'm going to bring them on board. And then I end up messing up what these people already.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a mistake I also made. Let's talk about, because you fired all of the men?
I fired all of the men except, he wasn't a part of the team. Yes, all of the men. And then when I started rehiring and I started building a woman team, which I wasn't trying to do all women, it just started making sense. And then we had one male working with us, and he was toxic.
You got rid of him too?
He got rid of himself. He got rid of himself because when we were rebranding and I gave everybody a raise and we redid the contract under Traverse Culture. And at that time, I was still paying hourly rate of USD. And you go from one rate to $3.25 more in USD, and you're getting paid hourly. Our projects vary. So if we have a large group and we work 16 hours a day,
you're getting all that. Nobody in Kenya can pay you that.
Nobody paying that in Kenya like that.
Never.
No, you get paid once a month. You make that salary. However long you work is how much you making. And so he said it wasn't enough. So he started corralling the girls, and all of the girls was like, I don't want no part of it. My chief of staff at that time gave the team 24 hours to get us back the contracts so we can move forward. You guys asked for the contract since we were transitioning, which you are right. You should have a contract. Sign it. Let's continue to move forward. He didn't answer. Instead, he goes on his Instagram and said, you should know your value, doing these subliminal message. And then 2 days later, we get a email to my lawyer and the company from his lawyer.
What was that?
Threatening us, stating he was in a hostile environment, that he should get paid the amount that we previously talked about that wasn't on the contract, and that we fired him. Yeah, which it wasn't smart on his part, because I wouldn't have said nothing until I got my last paycheck. So, why would you do that?
I got you.
So now you got to wait for your paycheck. So we paid him, but now you got to wait. Since you sent us information for your lawyer, so I'm going to let you and your lawyer and my lawyer negotiate on what it is you're talking about. And now you got to wait on your last paycheck. That was just, it didn't make any sense.
But you found that women are easier to work with.
My team of women have been incredible. I have HR. I have a local company, Traverse Culture Africa. I have a local business account. I have a local this, local that. My HR take care of that. I just authorize everything.
Okay.
Kenyan women are easy to deal with, to me. Now, I do have male workers now. My media guy is a male. He's absolutely amazing. My lawyer is a male. He's been my lawyer for the last 6 years. Shout out to Victor, the best lawyer in Kenya. My business partner for the real estate company, he's male. My business partner, Ubuntu Creative Village, he's a male.
I heard about that.
Shout out to Elijah, Ubuntu. Y'all gotta come out there. Beautiful. Shout out to my other, he's been with me for a minute, O'Brien Kimani.
So these are partnerships you have leveraged.
He's at KBC journalist.
So these are partnerships outside of the business.
No, within the business.
But these are not employees. These are partnerships.
Yeah, just the media guy is a
but these people don't work for you.
Yeah, that's right.
They're partnered with you.
My workers are all women.
Yeah, I found, in my estimation, I don't want to go into detail, I heavily prefer hiring men.
Really?
A lot. If I was a woman, I could see why I would hire women. But being a man, I think that you can speak more freely.
Yeah.
As to, well, why didn't you do it? Because I think
I could do the same thing. Trust me. I'm ex-military. I'm from the state. I had to learn to change. I just did it the other day and I had to apologize. I talk freely.
I'm very colorful.
Me too.
Not as colorful as me. I have a lot of colors. A lot.
I'm quite colorful now.
Not as me. No.
I'm sure.
I come in with the liquor.
No? Oh, okay. Yeah, no. I don't do that.
Yes. In the team meeting.
But I've been colorful with my words. I've been stern. I've been very angry. I've been, hey, get this done now. I don't want to hear no excuses. I get it done now. And
it's hard for me to do that with women. I can't
do that with another woman.
Yeah.
But
for
then,
me, I can't do that.
Sometimes I'm wrong. So I have to come back and apologize.
Yeah, of course.
Like, okay, I didn't mean to curse you out. I was upset. And then I have to say, Miss Waukesha, you have to, And so when we had our team building trip, I went and I spoke to all of my employees and I asked them for feedback on how I can be a better CEO, what their feedback for me, and I gave them their feedback and gauged them where they are in the company, how they felt. That was a part of that team building trip to Diani. And so I also like to be able to build with the team and also just take some of their feedback. But for me, all of my women that I work with have nothing but a high level of integrity, high level of loyalty, and those women work their ass off.
Yeah, I will say also that women and men give different problems.
Yeah.
And the problems that you experienced, I have also experienced. But I think it's good for ladies from the diaspora that feel like they would want to start a business here that are not tied to a man. I've seen a woman, I have Exaria, so we know Link House of Lincoln Exaria says he also works for us in Kangana.
Okay.
He worked next door for another clothing label in Motive. We were inside of Motive.
Okay.
It's a big content creation studio, but they also have like Mercantile.
Okay.
So he worked for a company, I don't want to mention his name, but they had a German lady that was tied to a Ugandan. She was in a relationship with or married to a Ugandan man. Because she had him, it was harder to kind of get over on her.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout out to Africa Ever After, Julius and Zara. Julius is a big man in Kansas City. You would think twice about doing something with her.
Right.
He's still young enough and he'll get after you.
Right.
I mean, you pick it with one hand like this.
Oh.
He's a big, strong man.
Got you.
But if you're a lady and you're coming over, some ladies are they have a single mom and they're coming over to like Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, and that is like the men run everything in the country. What advice would you give a woman where it's the business environment is already tough and you're a lady and you're from America? I mean, it's opportunity obviously there, but then what are some things you would tell a woman that you're trying to do a business in Africa, you don't have a man.
Yeah.
And men typically, may have less respect for women.
Yeah.
Because the police ain't gonna help you so much and all that. What would you do?
Ooh, that's a tough one because, to your point, I had to fire all the men because I did see that egotistical type of, I'm gonna lead, you're a woman, I'm a man situation.
There are a lot of men here in the African American community that you're cool with. Do you think that now somebody would try, because you would have backup now? There's a lot of men here.
Yeah. Even when that situation happened with the guy, I had a group of 30 African Americans there for the conference. And about 6 or 7 of them were men. And they were looking for him. They was like, nah, you can't mess with sis. Like, what's really good? Like, you know what I mean? And now, I'm cool with some of the diasporan brothers here. Now, I don't really see that now that I have an all-women team. My women on my team are tough.
Okay. So you would advise it's probably better hire women.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think you can get far with a woman team. My women are super tough and respected women in the community. My operations director ran for MP for Kibera Rivera, even my executive PA, she's a leader in some of the Gen Z organizations.
Okay.
So all of the women in my organization are leaders.
Okay.
And so when we walk in with our T-verse shirts, especially when we have on our collar shirts, people be looking at us like we just super important. Like, who are y'all? Can we get one of them shirts? And my team of women go in there and they get the job done.
Is it hard training?
I don't think it's hard. You clash. That's why I renamed the company Traverse Culture, because as you travel, you can always find a nucleus in the culture. But then you can build off of the differences and find a medium. With my team, we represent Traverse Culture. Me being American and having a Kenyan team, and I'm a leader. You know what I mean? I'm a big personality, and I like things a certain way, and I'm a pretty easy person.
But you're definitely not scary.
No, of course not. I'm not scary. No.
Charleston.
Yeah, no, I'm from the Chuck. 843 in the building. Yes. Gullah Geechee. So, but yes, when I hired my first woman employee, I got at her neck like so bad. And I was like, I don't care if you're crying.
Right.
Dry the tears and let's do this.
That's African American. That's what we do.
But then I also had to understand their culture.
Right.
You have to meet me in the middle, lady. If you want us to continue to work with you and give you the same level of respect that we give you, we deserve it too.
Right. I told you parity is lacking.
Correct.
Parity is not always usually not there, and it's something that we feel like we're working in the business. Like, hey, we're looking for this from you.
Yeah, this is a reality, and you said so great. Two things can be true. I think again, a lot of us will come in these spaces as being entitled, and that we're doing you a favor.
Right, we can definitely be entitled.
Super
Sure. I've done
arrogant.
That. I've done that.
I've done it.
I've done it. Yeah.
I've done it, and so you have to check yourself and unlearn some of those things. And so as you're building a team, these are your equals.
Right.
While I am your boss and I pay you, you're not beneath me.
Because we can't do anything without them.
Not a damn thing.
Nothing.
If you want to do it successfully,
nothing.
You can't do it. Period.
Nothing.
Full stop.
I mean, you're on their turf.
And if you want to be successful here,
hey,
you cannot do it without them.
They're the ones that protect you.
I've found it easier to deal with women.
Okay.
Period.
Me,
men.
For sure. I'm from the black. I get them old 80s talks.
Yeah.
Them come to Jesus. I will say, in comparison to African Americans, Ugandans and Kenyans are way more sensitive.
Oh my!
In comparisons to us,
that's an understatement.
They're very sensitive,
super sensitive.
Yeah, I mean, at least that's how we would look at it. Let me not say
you can't say nothing.
Yeah, I will not say that. Maybe Kenyans and Ugandans wouldn't think that they're sensitive, but to us,
they are super.
We
sensitive.
would feel like they're sensitive.
Yes,
because I can say something like, "What the f you talking about?" Like, and I'm ready to move on for 5 minutes.
No.
But for them,
what?
That might take 2 or 3 months. They can't get over it like
Kenyan
that.
trolls will come for you.
Yeah,
period. They got good internet.
For sure. And they'll hack your shit. Kenyans will hack
They got good internet.
Then they hack Tanzania. They will hack your stuff. Like,
yes.
Kenyans are not to be with. Like,
no.
They will hack your like
they got good internet, I'm telling you.
Ugandans won't hack your shit, but Kenyans will hack everything.
Kenyans are insane on the internet. I'm telling you.
One of the things that I've tried to do in Uganda and Kenya is very culturally similar. Yeah. They're more similar to each other, probably more closer. Because you don't see Kenya versus Uganda so much.
You don't.
Kenyans
and Tanzania.
Kenya loves Uganda, but you do see Ghana versus Nigeria. But Kenya and Uganda, they love each other. They love each other. So they're very similar, even though the language is different.
Yep.
And what I've noticed is when somebody makes a mistake, I used to be real hard on it. But okay, what was the thought process during this? So I felt like, and sometimes when you're talking to somebody, do you understand? They don't ask questions. Like, any questions? They won't. So they'll just go and assume and just start doing something. And that's wrong. I thought, why didn't you say? Because the culture wasn't to
passive.
Like, for example, if you say something that I don't know a word, it doesn't bother me to say I don't know it.
Yes.
Right?
But what does that mean?
What does it mean? But a Ugandan or Kenyan may not want to show that they don't know it and just assume. Even if you're getting like Uganda directions, like here Uber is good. Yeah, really but I'm here. So where are you? I'm here. You go here, you go here. You understand? Yes. Then 5 minutes. Where are you now? But he doesn't understand. He doesn't know how to say, I don't know how to do it. I think it's very similar in Kenya.
It's not a part of the culture.
It's not. Now I have to say, okay, let's do this. If you don't know what I'm saying, just tell me that you do not know. Yeah, okay. So now as the culture, if I don't understand what do you mean? As Americans, we feel like if I don't know, I might just say I don't know. But they could go through any questions. No, I don't know. So for us as freshmen, why don't you get it? We talked about it. Why don't you get it? And sometimes you may find yourself repeating 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times before they get it.
It's on both sides in terms of the cultural differences.
Right.
And learning how to
and they can take it that we're being rude. And really, there's this.
Sure, we have a lot of it either comes with us.
Yeah, and we're not being rude. Like, we could just cuss you out.
And we just cursed you out.
And 5 minutes later, what you want to eat? That's just normal. Like, we dysfunctional like that.
I'm glad that you say that.
Yeah.
And so, again, that's something that, maybe your Kenyan counterparts don't want to deal with.
Right.
Just like there's certain things that we don't want to deal with.
Right.
That's why we as a company focus on relationship building.
Mm-hmm.
Relationship building from a perspective of really getting to know each other and finding that medium because we are so different.
Right. Tell them about your company, what you do and all that.
So again, we're a Traverse Culture travel concierge company that specializes in humanitarian work, relocation assistance, business development, and now medical tourism inbound to Kenya. We are based in the U.S. and we have our subsidiary here, Traverse Culture Africa. We also service Belize and Panama. We do have an incredible initiative that's happening this December, the Journey Back to Eden initiative, which is our version of the Year of Return. We are calling 200 Africans of the diaspora here to Nairobi, Kenya, December the 28th through January the 4th, or December the 28th through January the 8th. It is built into a 7-day and 12-day itinerary. Shout out to Ashley in Africa. Shout out to Austin Holloman. Shout out to Dr. Umar. Shout out to all of the ambassadors that are on board. Shout out to PLO.
Lumumba.
Yes, he is an ambassador for the JB. I love him.
Shout out to Doc.
Yeah, he allowed me to drive him around Nairobi.
And talk.
Yes,
you had one last year. I was here last year. I didn't go to it.
Yeah, I had one last year. We had the pilot call to action. We had 100 participants and we had a fashion show. New Art Fashion Week was here from New York. So yeah, it's going to be a big success. It's our version of the year return. Shout out to Ghana for paving the way. And now we are asking you all to join us here to look to Kenya as the second point of entry for your return.
And let me just tell you this. I've been in Kenya for 10 days on the low. I want to give a shout out to brother Kevin.
Shout out to Kevin.
Nexus.
Yes, Nexus. They did a great networking event.
I did an excellent.
And I think her name is Ela, yeah,
the recreation sister from London.
A recreation sister.
Very good job. I ended up finally meeting you in person.
Yeah.
Yeah. What you guys are doing here is amazing.
No,
thank you. You were here first, right? So we want to give you credit. You're the first person I saw that here.
Give me my credibility.
Yeah, gotta give it to you. Gotta give it to you.
The big guy here, man. Thank you for having me.
You guys are doing a wonderful job, and I want to come back as much as possible. So shout out to Nairobi.
Yeah.
And in Kenya, been so welcoming.
Yes.
I've been, and the liquor here is off the, I never saw a drink I didn't like. So anything else you want to say?
No, just shout out to Kenya and my Kenyans. Always showing us love, man. I love this country, and thank you for having us. Thank you for allowing African Americans to come to your country and welcoming us. Do you see the comments?
Yeah.
The comment
They're
section?
so supportive.
They are like the most supportive people you ever meet on the continent. So shout out to my Kenyans. We love y'all so much. Thank you for having us in your beautiful country.
So supportive. Peace.